and it's really great that we get to spend this time together. And welcome to all of those who are online, who are also joining us at this time, nice, bright and early, and hopefully are going to really get involved in the discussion. So, as Solange mentioned, I'm Yogi Nambia. I'm the Director for Policy and Ecosystem Development at Africa Forward, and Africa Forward is a Pan-African organization and movement of social innovators and entrepreneurs who are really looking to build the social economy of the continent. And this is important and related to the G20 because we have this theme as a country of solidarity, equality, sustainability, and the people who are at the forefront of building that are social innovators, social entrepreneurs, and people in the civil society, but working alongside philanthropists, working alongside the private sector, government, etc. So this is a combined effort of all of us. So again, thank you for joining us. The G20 is a big machinery, and some of us will not be too ashamed to admit we didn't fully understand it when it came our way as the presidency. So, you know, you kind of plunged into this, and the G20 has all these engagement groups and working groups, and we don't actually know what it all means and how everything kind of happens. So this is our opportunity to learn a bit more about it. So please, this should be an interactive session. We're going to hear from our panelists, but after that we do want to open up to questions. And don't feel shy to ask what you might think is a basic question that somebody else is sitting with as well in the audience. And I'm really pleased and honored to welcome our panelists who are here with us, but also those online, and we'll hear from each of them now. The G20 is an influential group, right, representing more than 80% of global output and 80% or so of the world's population, a large landmass that we're covering. So it is an important group for us to, you know, be able to engage with, for us to understand, and for us to know what this opportunity does to serve the country. So I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Oh, before that, let me just say that we'll have 10-minute presentations from each of them on their engagement group, what their objectives and plans are, etc., maybe opportunities to engage. And then, if we have some time, I will ask a round of questions and then we'll open it up to yourselves. But let's see how we go. Our first speaker, Dr. Anthony Costa, is the head of the Secretariat for the B20, Business 20 South Africa, and he's based at Business Unity South Africa, responsible for the hosting of the B20, really looking at how the private sector engages with the G20 and with what strategic policy recommendations. He worked previously in the private office of the President of South Africa, leading the President's Investment Mobilization Program and participating in several initiatives between government and the private sector. He's on full-time secondment from the Nedbank Group Limited, and I have to tell you the B20 is just a massive group, but very well organized and really an influential and important player in this whole space of development and progress for South Africa. So we're very glad to have you here with us, Anthony, and over to you for your presentation.
Great, thank you, Yogi, and thank you, Solange, Birth Centre, and other organisers. It's a great privilege to be here. I'm going to run through a few slides. I'll take a bit less than 10 minutes because there are a few of us here, but provide a bit of an overview and an introduction to the B20. I think in the same way that many of us weren't that familiar with the G20.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You need to keep in mind, if you're on stage, you would raise your voice a lot louder, because the people online aren't hearing everybody very clearly. So,
do you want him to stand at the podium?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do with the mic. It's just that I need you to project your voice a little bit louder, please. Thank you.
Okay. Former comrades used
Nice
say
to see
that
people
my
laugh.
dispense with the
What the laughability.
salutations. And indeed, Solange, you did not say all protocol observed. This cannot be achieved.
Double the amount of laughability at the
So
G20
we weren't really familiar with
UCT
the G20.
GSB
It is the business
collaboration
engagement group of
dialogue.
the G20. I'm going to go quite briefly through how we structured, what it's about.
2025
In order to see my notes, I'm actually going to stand up. So
the UCT
really,
GSB.
it is a formal policy development process. The B20 develops policy on behalf of business across the G20. South Africa is the custodian. It's not a South African policy group. South Africa is one participant along with the other 20 member bodies of the G20, as well as, of course, business people and individuals from the G20 countries, including the African Union and the European Union. Those policy proposals are submitted to the G20 ahead of the summit, and there's a process of engagement throughout to make sure that they will socialize ahead of the summit. Of course, as with all of the engagement groups, all we can do is make recommendations. We don't make policy, nor does the G20 for that matter, but they can adopt resolutions that are then implemented by government and other international agencies. So the benefits of this, quite simply, it's an opportunity for business across the G20 to try and develop common positions on matters that we would hope align with South Africa's approach and presidency, but that is a process that has to emerge organically. South Africa positions us internationally on the world stage. It's not intended to try and drive business here or investments. That's a byproduct. In some ways, we've spoken about this as our World Cup, and that's a bit misleading. We're not going to get tens of thousands of people here. Certainly for the B20, it's largely a virtual process. For the G20, they have many more in-person meetings, but these are government officials, bureaucrats, essentially traveling here over the course of the next 7 or 8 months to work on policy. It puts South Africa in the spotlight, but that doesn't generate an automatic benefit for us in the same way as other mass events may do. So these are some of the things that we've been working through and opportunities for business to engage in the B20. We had our launch a couple of weeks ago, just up the road here in Century City. We structured through task forces, and I'll go into the task forces in a moment. We then have advocacy or engagement with business, government, and civil society and other stakeholders. And all of this leads up to the summit, which precedes the G20 summit in November in Johannesburg. So this is how we structured, and sort of the busiest slide, and you can get a sense of who everyone is. So we're hosted by BUSA. It's the largest business body in South Africa. We've taken over from Brazil, the CNI, who engaged with BUSA towards the middle of last year. The BUSA president, Mr. Khulisi Mvojo, is our chairperson, supported by Ms. Nkululeko Nyembezi, who is the chair of Business Leadership South Africa, which is a supporting organization to BUSA in this process. They're a BUSA member. The CEOs of those two organizations chair our local business advisory council. And then our Sherpa is Kasku Vadia, maybe familiar to many of you. He was the former CEO of BUSA. He's just retired. And instead of being allowed to enjoy his retirement, he does this for a year. And I am helping him as the head of the secretariat, which would make me the sous Sherpa, although I don't use that word because people laugh at you. So I'm very keen to introduce the concept here, and don't tell the ambassador we will laugh at. You'll see there that we have 8 task forces. These task forces are largely taken from previous G20s. Brazil, for example,